it's a tough question as to how taking nature as the basis, how do we deal with problems that have been created by the misuse of nature? How do we mitigate them? Well, to begin with, I think we need to go back to the roots of how we formulate development projects. It's not just a question of trying to arrest something in midstream. Some of that midstream impact, unfortunately, will play itself out over the next few years before we can change. It's like changing the direction of a ship right in the middle of a very fast-flowing river. So if we learn to reconceptualize projects and programs, and more importantly, what development policy should be. That development, whether it is seen in a single sector or at a national and regional level, development set inside an environmental framework rather than at this time seen as an add-on or as a second thought, almost as a reflex. In my ideal world, the finance minister, one day before he presents the finance budget, should present a green budget so that people realize that looking after the environment is not the job of the environment minister. It is at the highest level an economic and primary fundamental responsibility of the state and of citizens. So I would not be so much concerned about the mitigation aspects in the short term or the medium term as much as in the long term. So there has to be a fundamental, almost revolutionary change in how we approach it. And I see an incremental process already at work. The concept of a green economy, of sustainable development injected into discourse by IUCN. So one would think that we should continue insisting on educating and capacity building of governments and the corporate sector and society to alter the way in which they view what growth means. Can there be, for example, it's an almost radical thought, can there be prosperity without growth, as a recent book provocatively asks? Possibly there can be, because we need to redefine what do we mean by prosperity. Do we mean material consumption alone? Just as Bhutan so memorably has used the term GNH, gross national happiness, instead of gross national product. So we need these fundamental changes of mindset. People are pursuing the ideal of growth on the assumption that unless you exploit nature, you cannot grow. This kind of mindset needs to be refined. And that is a work in progress. It will take another generation to bring that about, but a great deal of progress has already been made.